What up, everybody? It's the Build Different podcast. Myself, Sean, doing more of a personal episode this time around. Today we want to talk about, and Sean's going to be spitting out some questions for me, free-flowing conversation, because we're comfortable with each other. We should be, as much as we talk every day. But yeah, we want to talk about some of the leaders and, some of the companies that inspired me when I was starting Extropian. And yeah, just wanted to kind of rationalize and I guess kind of there's certain people that epitome leadership or companies that are doing things that I find to be interesting. So I'll let Sean kind of start spitting out some questions for me, and we'll just make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, as some of you may know, if you've been watching the podcast for a while, Ricky's definitely a big, you know, um, tech enthusiast and as well, a big entrepreneur. So, Ricky, when before you started Extropian, and you had an idea, you had a vision for kind of what you wanted to do. What at the time were there any companies that you were like, this company is doing it right? Like, I kind of want to be like them. Like, not replicating them, but like, doing it in your own way.
Obviously, like I've told the story many times on here, like I've always been a fan of like cell phone like technology. I love the way technology has evolved with cell phones, and one of the big ones for me, I'm always been like an early adopter of technology. It could be phones, it could be different things. But the big one for me, and I think this is kind of everybody's, is Apple and Steve Jobs. Um, because of the iPhone, you know what I mean? I remember watching them do the because I remember the like all the news outlets and everybody, tech blogs, they were all talking about something big is coming. Apple's going to be doing this, and there was like little, like little, uh, reveals here and there. Like, you saw things like little, like, pop ups of things. So, little by little, things were being revealed about it. So I was like, man, I really want to see what this company's doing. They're doing something different. This is edgy. This is, there, I just love everything that surrounded that with changing the game with cell phones, and they were just producing something that was just bonkers. That's out there that you know, people I think would love or hate. Um, Everybody kind of loved it a little bit more, loves it a lot more than anything because everything is influenced by it now as far as mobile technology. But yeah, Apple was kind of one of those companies that. I mean, from an innovation standpoint, like, damn, I would love to have that feeling of bringing something to the masses that is easy to use, that people look as that next big thing that just enhances our ability to communicate, to do different things, to easy to use. All of the things that made Apple what they are, and especially with the iPhone. That was I think that was one of the companies. Obviously, I hadn't started our company yet, but that was one of the companies. Like, damn, that would be so dope to deliver something like that to the masses, and push humanity forward, which is what we're doing with Extropian. So yeah, I would say Apple was that company. I think that I was most like, damn, I would love to do something like that.
And from a not only from like the technical side and what they were doing with the product that they released, obviously the iPhone and then everything that came after that, but from the branding side, I know we've talked
Hmm.
about the branding that they do and how they kind of worded everything when they originally, that video that you were kind of referencing. Talk about that a little bit and how that
Yeah,
may
I
have
mean,
influenced you as well.
it was just powerful. You know what I mean? I think obviously I'm an Android guy. I don't think I'll always be an Android guy, or if something else that I like comes out. But I admire them. I admire the just the way they branded everything, and I mean, Steve Jobs going up there and presenting the technology, and then just think different, something simple, something easy that was kind of their moniker. I mean, it was powerful, and a lot of the videos, a lot of the Even the way they advertise was really like powerful, was motivating, moving. But it's just, I mean, they have a cult like following now. You know what I mean? Like people, you go in the mall, and you still see people line wrapped around the store and around the side of the mall when a new iPhone comes out. It might only have a new camera sensor in it, but people are like, I got to get that new one. But yeah, I love what they do, what they've done. I love um, what they stand for, and it was more about how the product made you feel more so than the features of it. You know what I mean? It was more of an emotional thing, and I think that's what makes people diehards. That's what makes people repetitive customers, and recurring. Apple's getting recurring revenue off of all of these different people because a lot of these people like yourself are never going to give up the iPhone. And a lot of that had to do with their branding and their marketing and the feelings they evoked with their the things that they wanted to get across to the end consumer. You know what I mean? The end user, I should say.
And yeah, I mean, speaking of branding, and specifically Apple as well, there's one guy that I'm surprised you haven't mentioned him yet, but he's talked about Apple before and how they branded, and that's your boy Simon Sinek.
Oh, Simon Sinek. I was going to talk about Simon Sinek at some point.
Well, for the people who don't know, I think we've talked about him on some previous episodes, but explain a little bit about who Simon Sinek is, how you found him, and how he's kind of influenced you as well, because it's kind of related.
Yeah, he's all about leadership. Simon Sinek. The way I found Simon Sinek, first of all, was at like a project management. It was like a course I was taking, and it was funny because in the project management, it was like a whole like 3 day type of seminar, and then you got a credential at the end or whatever. But there we had to break up in teams, and my team, I still actually engage with some of them, but the team, each team had to kind of pick a business, and they had to build do a project management type of run with it, like Scrum, a Scrum for it or whatever. And we used my business at the time. It wasn't what it is today, but it was like just in theory we utilized the business and what I was trying to do at that time. And so there was a lady there that was like, have you should really look into Simon Sinek. I'm like, who's that, whatever. She's like, he has a TED talk, and I'm like, and she was telling me about it. It was like, about leadership. It was about, just branding, and she was like, he is really powerful. So just take a look at it. So that day I went home and I went on YouTube and I looked it up, and I was like, damn, like this. I like the way he simplified everything. He had this a golden circle, and it's basically um, you know, people don't people tend not to want to just buy from you or buy a product because of the features and what it is. There has to be a why behind it. And he had the book start with why, so I ended up getting the book and reading it. And Apple was in there through and through because they did exactly, he used them as a case study, but they did the whole, um, we want you to believe in what we believe in. So if you believe in what we believe in, buy our product. And it wasn't just the features and things like that. Because they talked about IBM, they talked about a couple of companies that were competing in the computer market at that time, and he showed the way they differentiate Apple, the way they differentiate their marketing and branding in comparison to IBM. And the rest is history. You see where Apple is now, and some of these other companies, they're still around, but they're not the powerhouse that Apple is, and they didn't evolve the way that Apple did. So, Simon Sinek, yeah, anybody that's getting into any type of business or into any form of leadership, read start leaders start with why, and yeah, his golden circle. Look into that and watch his TED talk because it will help you kind of shape your thoughts as to why you're doing what you're doing, and then you convey that essentially to the customer, or you should be
And
doing that. You don't do that, it's easier to for them to pick a competitor. But when you do, it comes from your heart and you put yourself out there and you have a something that you want to stand for and the way you want to make people feel, and you can convey that through marketing and branding. um, yeah, you've got, you might have a customer for life. You have that person that's going to stick by you. So
yeah, I mean, I know, from experience that he, his thoughts and the stuff that you learn from him is influenced not only, a little bit of our pitch decks, it's influenced, you know, us starting a podcast, us wanting to be open and, accessible to customers from a personal standpoint.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of that kind of feeds back to, I think, what you learned from him and from his TED Talks and from his books and things like that. So,
Most
um,
definitely.
but yeah, outside of that, with regards to branding and brand recognition, I know we've talked about that a lot. And uh, I'll let you say it, but there's always one company that you're like, we want to be that. Talk about that a little bit.
Are you talking about when I'm always like, I want to be, we want to be the pioneers of our what we're doing?
Yeah.
So one of the things I always bring up, and Sean's probably tired of hearing it, is when you're first to do something, a lot of other people that follow you up. If you do a good job of it, a lot of other companies that follow up, people call them your company's name, or you have a product that you're the first with. Other companies come out with a similar product. People call it by that name. If you think of like Uber, and a lot of people, it might be my mom, and she'll like see a Lyft vehicle and say, "Oh, that person's driving an Uber. It's a Lyft." You know what I mean? It's a Lyft car. And same thing. Q-tip is one that I always mention all the time.
Be the Q-tip.
Be the Q-tip, yeah. Where everybody calls every cotton swab that you use in your ear Q-tip, and it's just they built that brand recognition. And same with Band-Aid. Like everybody thinks that every plaster that you put on your arm for to heal a cut until a cut heals or whatever, is a band-aid. And it's not band-aid. It's just a brand that kind of everybody recognizes more so. And I mean, there's a bunch of them. Thermos, there's a ton of them. But I've always wanted, since we're kind of pioneering something and something that's new. And we obviously got to do the groundwork and market it the right way, and really evoke the emotion that we want people to feel through utilizing our technology. But we want to be, want people to call it, because others are going to follow. People are going to follow us. People are going to, if we're planting our flag in the ground, we're the pioneers, we're the thought leaders of this thing. People are going to follow us, but we want to build such a strong product and such a strong relationship with consumers, and help people in such a profound way, that will be the Q-tip of our genre of technology. Will be the thermos of our genre of technology. So you know people down the road are going to be calling anything that comes out similar to us, the Extropian X1, for example. But that's really what I've told you, that from the day you probably came in. That's what I really wanted for the company, for the product. And I think we're on the road to doing that. And I think based on some of the things that we've came up with lately, and the way we want people to digest our information and how beneficial it is for them, I think we can definitely. I know we'll definitely do it. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Be the Q-tip. That's our internal company motto when we're talking about branding.
For sure.
Um, but going back a little bit to different people outside of Steve Jobs, who are some other influential people that you've kind of come across over the past few years, or people that you've seen that you're like, I really like how they have transformed their business or grown their business to the point where they went from being maybe someone who was just a CEO to a business leader or a thought leader in business.
I think I take a little bit from different people. Like obviously, Elon is a big one. And some of these individuals, may not agree with you know some of the things they do outside. Like and I say this just from a business standpoint, and being able to have vision and follow through. Because there's always things popping up about different people. So just from a business standpoint, yeah, Elon. I just I really appreciate. that he just goes for, and he seeks out an industry, sees a way that he can change it and make it better, and he just goes for it. I mean, he's got his hands in how many different things. And I like the fact that he does everything very strategically. You start off with Tesla, and Tesla is a software company, and they have the batteries and all that stuff, but they're mainly a software company. A car company, really a pseudo car company via software. But utilizing that, building that up to then build up other things, and the ultimate goal is Mars. You know what I mean? Um, I appreciate anybody that's like just willing to go outside the box and just break boundaries, and he's literally shooting for the stars, for other planets. You know what I mean? I appreciate that, and just different industries that he taps into. I'm not so much Twitter, because I think that I don't know about that, or why. You know, there's certain things that I'm like, but the obviously Tesla, SpaceX. I'm not too I'm not too I'm not too keen on like Neuralink or anything like that. It's just kind of a little weird to me. But and then even what he was trying to do with like the boring company with transportation, because I think that's an area that I mean we're still riding on the same train tracks that damsels in distress were being tied to back in the cowboy days. You know what I mean? Bank robbers were stopping trains on those same train tracks. So I think that's right. That industry's been ripe for change, and he's trying to make moves there. From just being a cool ass CEO, like living the dream, like kind of laid back, like I love the way he runs his company, and how like just it's all about having fun, and just being very loose. And it's Richard Branson.
Nice.
Um, I read his book, and it was interesting, his journey. But I love how he just operates. He just living the dream. Elon's kind of that workaholic, and Branson works hard but plays hard. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that, and obviously Steve Jobs, and just in tech, just anybody. I mean, even just it could be a kid doing a STEM project. Anybody that's kind of um, not being, because this is my thing with society and everybody as a whole, and there's so much like sheep-like behavior, like you know what I mean. You see it on social media all the time. One person does one thing, the next person does the same thing. It's just like a bunch of sheep, you know what I mean. So anybody that's doing something differently, somebody that's has a dream, has a vision, and they go for it. I mean, like I said, it could be that kid in the STEM school when doing robotics, and they're coming up with something, and they're just using their mind and thinking outside the box. I appreciate them just as much as I may appreciate some of these CEOs that built billion-dollar companies. It always has to start from somewhere. You know what I mean? So that kid in the classroom is like, I can appreciate that. And I'm constantly seeing new companies and new even networking events running across, people doing something. But if you're breaking the mold, you're not being that person that's like just following the crowd. You're trying to do something, you know, for sometimes out of the goodness of your heart, and because you acknowledge that there's a problem, or that a pain point for people, or you want to do something to make leave your mark on society or humanity, or the planet as a whole. I can appreciate that. So there's I take a little bit of everything from everyone, but like anybody that's just like stepping outside the box and not doing the stupid shit that everybody else is doing every day, and being held in this fence, this fence that society tries to put us in, this barricade that society tries to put us in. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, and we've definitely talked about that. I think society as a whole is very much a copycat league right now, right? It's you see one person succeeding in a way, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, let's do that. It's like you gotta copy what's working, and it's like I
It's
think you've told me this too with like your phone, right? Like you're a big fan of the phone that flips open and has an openable screen, like exactly. Um, and
yeah,
now that they made that and it's working, now there's other companies out there that are like, oh, we should make a phone that flips open. Now, Apple has never made a phone like that. They're like, maybe we should have a phone that flips like that.
Their
Like,
patents, so they've
yeah.
been looking into it at least.
So it's like everyone starts doing stuff because they've seen it work versus, I think this is kind of what you were alluding to, the people that are going for it before they know it's going to work, right? So
Mm.
like they're first off, they're going to be the first ones to do it, which, gives them a leg up. But then also, they're taking that risk and taking a chance. But ultimately, if you believe in what you're doing, it's not as big of a risk as, like as you would think. If you believe in what you're doing, you believe in your product, then it's just, a way of getting there.
Yeah, it's like the dance floor, like a nightclub or a wedding, where everybody's just kind of standing around waiting for that first person to get on the floor. Yeah, like it's that first person has to get on the floor and lead the dance, and that's what we're doing. We're gonna lead the dance, but and not like Elaine from Seinfeld or anything. But like we're gonna be dancing good and dancing hard. Like so, yeah. No, I agree with you. But yeah, definitely being the first on the dance floor, dancing well, and if anybody else wants to come dance after us, we're still recognized as that individual that got everybody on the dance floor, and it's all an effort. Everything and from the standpoint of people copying. I mean, it's just it's kind of a nod of appreciation. You know what I mean? So there's going to be people that copy and follow, which is a great thing because it's better for the marketplace, it's better for the consumers, it's better for whoever your target audience is. Because somebody leads that dance, somebody comes out, you're competing, others come in, you're competing, and it should lead to innovation and better products. So it's definitely a good thing, but definitely want to be that first one on the dance floor for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. Competition definitely brings out, the best in maybe not the best in everyone, but having competition is going to push each person or each company to constantly improve, as opposed to if you have no competition, then you just sit there and you could become stagnant. Um,
Yeah,
so, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you see that with a lot, and like, well, a lot of people complain about Madden and EA. There's no, that was exclusive license with the NFL. So what's their motivation to make it better every year? Just slap one new thing on it every year and say, hey, this is 2025. Like nobody's there to compete with them. So
Yeah. Um, so as far as we've talked about a little bit about people, a little bit about some businesses like Apple and things like that. But are there any other you know businesses or business leaders that you wanted to highlight that you think influenced you either professionally, personally, um, helped motivate you to be an entrepreneur or to move forward?
I think when I first started, like, because I was looking for like sources of motivation. I think I listened to like a lot of Gary Vee. Um, I listened to a lot of him. I listened to, you know, and these people are leaders in their own regards, maybe on the more motivational speaking side of things. But Les Brown, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, love that guy. You know, Tony Robbins. I mean, I think I took a lot from just a lot of those type of motivational people from the motivational side. Um, I know I started watching. I mentioned this on another podcast. Alexis Ohanian. Some of the things he was doing, going out and talking to entrepreneurs. I think even I go back to like early childhood when I was like, starting to really like just enjoy technology was and when I say enjoy technology, it wasn't even just like from a just I use it, but everything about it, like the way they did their commercials, the packaging, like even the plastic, and that's why I love podcasts like or YouTube channels like Unbox Therapy and what's the guy's name again? Like Marquez Brownlee does some unboxing stuff sometimes, but even like there's a ton of them. But seeing how it's unboxed, seeing all the components in it, like even stuff like that. Like for me, it was like Nintendo and Sony. Just watching the unboxing, watching when it came out, seeing the hype that they built for the product. I waited in line for one PlayStation, which was like I was like I'll never do that. I waited in line for Jordans once, but you know, I so yeah, I bought into the hype. I was like, let me see what this feels like from a consumer standpoint, and obviously, an early adopter, I wanted to be the first to have it. But yeah, those I think were really influential for me, not just from just playing the games, but just everything about it. Even like I would look in the Best Buy uh, you know inserts that came in the mail and stuff like that, and looking at the packaging, the way they labeled the way they priced everything, and things like that. I think influenced me at an early age, and then came the cell phones. You know what I mean, and the cell phone companies, and yeah, and even on a bigger scale, just trying to do big things was always like the NASA's and Northrop Grumman and Boeing, like all the manufactured planes and just military, like DARPA, and just anybody that was just doing crazy stuff, like and just innovating, and you know, I yeah, those are the things I always used to watch and look at as a kid and be like, damn, like this is really cool. Like those, I would kind of nerd out over those things. Um, and at the end of the day, it's like kind of one of the big reasons why I love what we're doing, because it's like I would admire those people, I'd admire those companies. I was like, man, what would it feel like to actually bring something like this out and have people using it and see people using it? And so I think once I started doing this, I was just like, damn. It was weird because when I started doing this, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Like, yeah, I believe in what we're doing. But then taking a step back and being like, damn, I admired people that were doing what I'm doing now, and I'm actually in the game and I'm putting out a product. We have a brand. Like, you know, it's crazy. Sometimes I have to sit back and look back and from like 50,000 foot view and be like, damn, I'm actually
And
doing what I admired so long ago. So yeah, it's powerful.
and yeah, I mean that I was gonna mention too. The only technology or product that I remember like waiting in line for was when the Nintendo Wii came out. That was the big thing, and it
Yeah.
was like I went to Circuit City and they had like
Oh,
25 in stock, and I was 14th in line, and I got it. I bought it down in Florida, even though I was living in New Jersey. Like I was on vacation. I saw that they had some. I was like, Mom, we need to go. We need to go. We need to go. And she was like, okay, like we can go. And like we waited in line for a few hours. I got my Wii, and it was like the best day of my life back then.
did you get
Um,
it when it first came out, or was it like already out? Were you like the one of the first week?
Um, no, it had already been out because I played it at a friend's house. Like I went over to a friend's birthday party or whatever, and he
Yeah.
had that was when it was like legit. Like they just had like Wii Sports. Like that was the only game that was out though. And so I got it. Like I played like the Wii Sports, and I was like obsessed with it. I was like, I need to get this. And I think it took maybe a month or two to actually find a place that had them in stock that I could get one. So by the time I got it, they started having other games come out and things like that. So it wasn't like the first, but I had one before most of my friends at that point. Um, so it became like the thing. Like everyone was like, "Oh, let's go to Sean's house. He has the Wii
Yeah.
now." Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it leads me. What you were saying at the end there leads me kind of into my final question, which is as you've grown as a leader and with the company growing and everything like that, how do you feel about like you know kind of starting to become a business leader yourself and the company becoming a business that people can inspire to be or inspire like grab inspiration from, similar to how you have with some of these other business leaders and companies that we've talked about.
You asked how do I feel about growing and becoming like a stronger leader, like as we go along on this journey? Is that what you were?
I guess like just like looking forward to the future, like as Extropian grows and as you continue to grow, like um what's your thoughts on, being like becoming like one of those people that like someone might be like, man, like, Ricky Alphonse, like he was so inspiring with how he started Extropian, blah blah blah. Like being someone that someone else might look to for inspiration in the future or now even.
Um, I love it. Like, I think it's that whole thing again of like, I always want to be known for like, and I always want to be known for somebody that did what they said they were going to do. You know what I mean? I think one of the biggest things for me is like, there's so much talking and not act and no action on people's part. I want to live up to all the things I said I was going to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't tell a lot of people. I don't give a lot of people a lot of details about what we're doing, or I have a couple of close friends I run it by, but I want to be an inspiration from that standpoint of like, I had a vision. I wasn't like, I wasn't built like, I wasn't bred for this really. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't the person that you know was handed selling lemonade at 6 years old from a stand, and then I went on to like sell software and build software when I was 12 or anything like that. I went to Stanford, or and built a business there. I'm not that typical person, so I think being that person that's just like everyday man, and with a vision and a dream, that somebody that decided to step outside the box. Because remember, I did and like I always say, no crapping on somebody that has a 9 to 5 job, but I did the 9 to 5 job, and then it helped me to realize like I wanted to do something big or something greater or whatever, and embark on a dream. So I think if when we get this across the line, and years go past, if I can be a source of inspiration for anybody that was in my shoes, to do that, I think that would be huge, for me. But also too, I don't know. I really love what we're doing, and it's crazy as well, that we are getting even more and more great people into the company. I love the team that we had previously, but I think we're filling in a lot of gaps, and we're actually getting a lot of people. So from that standpoint, I'm like, damn, I guess I'm inspiring enough. Our product is inspiring enough. You're inspiring enough because you're on a lot of those calls for these people to be interested in joining us and what we're building. Um, so I think that, and then I think too, even from a standpoint of what our technology does for people, if they look at back on it, and look at me, look at you, look at anybody in the company, look at the company as a whole, and like, damn, they really changed the game for me. You know what I mean? Because what we want to really essentially build is a culture. You know what I mean? We want to build a movement of people that believe in getting the most out of themselves. Life is so short. Like, you only have a certain amount of time to be to build the best version of yourself. And if we're able to do that through our company, through the data, through our branding, then that's really what I would like to be known for, and the inspiration I'd like to get across to anybody. But um, I've actually gotten a chance to mentor a few like younger students, and shout out to Dwight, again, Dwight Thompson. We'll link the company he works with. But he sent a couple of students and kids my way, and tried to mentor them. So it's just, my whole thing is just being known. There's so many people being known now for doing complete foolishness, or being an idiot, or be doing, just, we're at a point now where people uh, celebrate mediocrity. People celebrate, being a clown, being, promiscuous, whatever. You know what I mean? But to be known for somebody that put something out there that helped people, and pushed humanity forward, and made us all better and stronger, healthier. Um, that would be great. I mean, that's it for me. That would be like, I can, years down the road, not trying to die anytime soon, but when my time expires on this earth, like, go to be with God. Yeah, that would be. I could rest easy at that point if we did all those things. So, and
And yeah, I think you're well on your way towards that. So
thank you. Yeah, and then our brand, and you have a lot to play into, and I'm always thankful for you being a part of this company. We wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for you as well. So just a lot about me on this call, but you're also, a source of inspiration. I'm sure people back in our program, and you're the same things we're saying about the feelings I want to have, and you're going to be doing the same thing as well. You know what I mean? Your story is very, very powerful as well. You know what I mean? So I'm just excited to see years down the road where this goes and where we are and who we become as people. And I think that's the other thing I wanted to say as well is like who we become through this journey is the biggest thing, and always just learning and growing and being that well-rounded person, similar to like a lot of our advisors where you can talk to them about anything and they're a source of knowledge. You know what I mean? I think that's really one of the biggest, probably the biggest thing I want to get out of this is just being that well-rounded person, well-versed, you know, just wealth of knowledge in all areas of life, all areas of business and technology. I think that's yeah, like that as well. I can rest easy when I'm called home. So I would say that.
Very good. That
Yeah.
was all I
So
had. Go ahead.
no, I appreciate it. I appreciate the questions, and anybody that's listening to this as well. Like we always say this all the time. We're like in super stealth mode right now with everything we're doing, but I can't wait to reveal it to everybody. And a lot of the conversations that we have now make a lot more sense then. But even from a branding standpoint and our logo and everything, yeah, I love what we're doing. I love this company, and even some of the newer things that we're planning on rolling out. Is I can't wait. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see who you become and everybody else becomes through this journey. So thank you, audience, for joining us. Follow along with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, like I always say, have a blessed week, have a great weekend, and peace and blessings. So.